introduce himself, and then we're going to go over some questions that you guys from the community and want to ask the governor, and we're going to answer those today. So, Diego, can you go ahead and tell us a little about yourself?
My name is Stephen Martinez. I was born in South America, and called Uruguay. I came to the United States when I was very young through the immigration process. We got our citizenship paperwork, and I am a small business owner in Calaveras County at this moment. We are in the process of running for governor because of different beliefs that we have. I stand for immigration reform, which I think is very important, especially in the state of California right now, because of what we have going on. I also believe that we need to do some tax cuts to be able to save some money for everybody in everyday life. We also need to bring industries back into California so that we can have more jobs with better wages for a lot of people. We are looking at a homeless community which keeps growing daily and weekly in most of our communities right now, which we need to address. To be able to address our homeless community, we need to get down to the main factors of what is going on in that community at this moment. One of the biggest problems that we have in the homeless community is that we don't get to the root of the problem. 70% of the people who are homeless right now have mentally ill issues that we need to address. So we need to look at that. We also need to look at the veterans who come back from war that are finding themselves homeless because of addiction problems. So to fix the homeless issues, we need to get to the root of the problem. So that's one of the things that we are running on, that we believe that's important to everybody right now who's living in these communities where they're growing.
Well, she says it's better now.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good. Okay, so do you have anything else to chime in on that?
I'm open to questions and answers. There's a lot that we can talk about right now. But what I like to do is get people's questions and let people get to know me a little bit. I believe we need to unite California at this moment because we are so far separated. We have allowed career politicians to destroy our system without them ever even having any stake in our society. A lot of these politicians have never worked a day in their life. What I mean by that, they never had a real job other than being a politician. So they don't understand that everyday need. We went through COVID-19 just a few months ago, and I'll call it months ago, even though it was just a couple of weeks ago before the drastic thing that happened. So when we look at that, these career politicians wanting to keep the state closed. They don't understand that we're in a $54 billion deficit right now. And the only way to get out of it is getting our counties, our state back to work, so our tax dollars to bring us out of this recession that we're in. We don't need to be government dependent. We need to be self-dependent. So things like that we can discuss, and I'm open for discussions. If you have questions at home right now, please feel free to chime in at any moment. Put your questions out there. And what we are going to do is try to answer as many as we can. If we can't get to them today, next week when we have this, those will be the first questions that we answer. And I'm looking for everybody's support efforts to unite California.
Okay, great. Thank you. So let's go ahead and begin. These are some questions from the governor that you guys have asked. And we're going to start with question number 1. Do you believe in God and keeping God in our USA government?
Religion is important to everybody. It doesn't matter what part of religion you believe in. I believe that God has a place in everybody's life, and I think there is a greater being. One of the things about God or churches right now, I think everybody has the right to choose where they want that to impact their life every day. I believe a spiritual person can believe and have faith, and I think faith is what carries us through a lot of our things.
Question number 2. What are your views on gays, abortion, gun control, and immigration?
Okay, so that's kind of like a loaded question there. We have quite a bit of there, so let's start with the first one, which was gays. I believe that if you find somebody who loves you, it doesn't matter what sex they are. It's hard enough to find love in this world and have somebody who's compatible with you. I think everybody has a role. I think what you do at your own house is your own business. I don't think the government should have any input in that.
Now, touching on that subject, have you personally experienced any family members or any friends that are gay?
I have a lot of gay friends. I know a lot of people in that community, and I respect them just like anybody else. I think we're all human beings, and we have the right to be happy. And it doesn't matter what sex you're with. I think we have the right to be happy in our own home.
And let's go on to the topic of abortions. What is your view on abortions?
That's a topic of a tough topic because I am actually pro-choice, which is a little bit of both. I believe that abortions have a place, and I think that's the choice of the woman because that's her body, that's her right. but I think there comes a time where you push it too far where it's not right anymore.
And what point is pushing it too far in your opinion?
If the baby's alive, the baby's alive. I don't think there really should be an abortion at that point. I think that if you're gonna make that decision, you need to make it in within the first trimester and get that situated. Again, each case is different and each person is different. I believe that a person has the right to make that decision.
So, some could almost counteract that statement, stating that, well, the child's alive in the first trimester, it does not begin when the first heartbeat. So, how do you respond to that?
Again, I'll stand to the same thing, that I believe it's a woman's choice and her right because it's her body and her decision, hers and her mate at the time. There's a lot of people that have been raped out there that don't want to have a child, and they should have the opportunity to do what they need to do. The biggest problem that we talk about when we talk about abortions and life matters, every life matters, so I don't want anybody to misconsider that. But you have kids who are in foster care right now, but there's nobody taking care of them. So are they suffering more now? Or would it have been better if they had been taken care of earlier because the mother couldn't afford to have it? So that is a decision and a choice that the family has to make. The government shouldn't get involved in that decision because I don't think that's right.
Okay, that's very understandable answer. Let's go on to gun control.
I'm a big advocate for the Second Amendment. I believe every law-abiding citizen should be able to own a gun, a firearm. They should be able to purchase it. But I also believe in background checks and making sure that the right people get their hands on guns. So I'm actually pro Second Amendment on that.
And how about immigration? This is big for you, stating that earlier in your opening statement, you're from another country. So what is your thoughts on immigration?
I believe the United States got built on people coming from other countries, and that's how we got started. But I also believe there's a legal and a right way to take care of that. I think we need a strong immigration reform program. If we go back to the Obama era, they did a program called DACA, which didn't really help anybody. They put people in what you call sanctuary city. I don't believe in a sanctuary state. I don't believe in a sanctuary city. I believe that if you break the law, there's consequences. At this point, we have 2.5 million illegals working right now under the table, what you might say. I believe that we help those people, instead of talking about deporting these people, we help them become legal in our state, in our United States here, in California, to help them pay their fair share of taxes just like everybody else. I think people come to this country with the same belief. We want to come here for the American dream. Well, what is the American dream? The American dream is different than everybody, and everybody lives it in a different way. From my experience, what we come to the United States for is a better living, a better future for our kids, and we want to come here and work. We don't want anything handed to us in any aspect of that. I think immigration has been played down, and the illegals have been a target of the government to empathize with them and say that they are here for something that they want for free, and it's not true. What they want is the same ability as the rest of us to come here and work hard and provide for their families here and in other countries. And I think we need to provide that opportunity for them. So I'm for a strong immigration reform program where it gets the people who are working right now a work permit to be able to be here, and let's run a background check on them to make sure that they are eligible to be here and stay here in the United States and be able to pay their fair taxes just like the rest of us. I think that's a lot better than trying to deport these people who are the backbone of some of the industries that we have here in California right now.
Let's go on to question number 3. How important is the Central Valley? How important in the Central Valley is farming and water situation to you and in your campaign? This is from Randy.
Well, Randy, simple. We all know that if you live in the Central Valley, farming is very crucial to all of us. The water shortage is important to us, so that's something that we have to look at a deeper value and get to the root of that problem and get it solved. The rain has helped a lot of the farmers these days because now we're not in that drought that we were a few years ago, so that does help. But we actually need to go back and look at the fundamentals to getting our water rights back, because especially from Central Valley, if you know, some of our water gets delivered to some of the bigger cities and stuff like that. So we need to look at where the water rights are going and make sure it's fair all the way around. So there's going to be a lot of digging and a lot of work to get that conveyed to where we need to be at.
Another question from Randy, and this is question 4. What are your thoughts on the high speed that was pursued by our present governor?
if we're talking about the high-speed rail, I'm actually against it. I think that was a lot of money wasted that could have gone to other resources. I think right now we're worried about a train just gonna go from one place to another when we should be more concentrating on helping people with the homeless, about our medical situation here in California, and putting people back to work. I think we spend billions of dollars on a train that hasn't gone anywhere, and I think we need to look at that and maybe put a stop to that program and allot the money to other things that are more needed, like our road conditions. We are the biggest state, the most taxed state, and we have the largest population, yet we're in the biggest deficit of any other state. So we need to put our priorities in place, and we need to put them where they belong, and we need to allocate the money to where it's most suited for the people of California, not the government, not a political group. I think it's time that we unite everybody in California, no matter what your party lines are, and we come together for what's best for California. Forget about party lines, forget about what's best for this interest group or that. What's best for the people of California? People are fleeing California every day because we're overtaxed. So why not hold these people back? Let's do some tax cuts. Let's get some people back to stay here, and let's bring some industry back. So to answer briefly on the bullet train, I'm against the project for right now because I don't think that we're in a financial situation to be able to put that train to work and be effective to make any money and make us more successful.
Okay, that's a very good, strong answer. Let's move on to question number 5. This is from Lori. Why is my nail salon and hair salon are not open yet?
Well, that's a good question, Lori, and anybody else out there who owns a barber shop, a beauty salon. I actually will hit the COVID-19 right now because just like every other Californian, we were with our governor when it first started, but it got to the point where it got to be ridiculous what we're doing. I believe that if you can have people out on the streets these days doing what they're doing, I think every business should be open. I believe that our government should have gone county by county, city by city, and saw what's best for that county and that area. I believe as long as you sanitize your place, you take care of it, and you let people make a choice. That's really what it comes down to. Your clients have a choice to do business with you during this time. If they want to take the risk and they choose their freedom to go into your salon, they should be able to. And the same thing with your employees. If they feel that they need to go to work right now and they feel safe, they feel they're not going to harm anybody, and they feel in control, I think your place should be open to business. Again, we need to open California back up because we need the revenue to help us keep going ahead in life. We need to have the small businesses in business. We can't just have the big box offices. To touch your subject just a little bit, and I'm not picking on the big box companies because I think they're doing a great job, but you can go into a Walmart, a Lowe's, a Home Depot, and there's hundreds of people in there, but you can't go get your hair cut and you can't go get your nails done. If somebody can justify that for me, I'd like to know, because the reality is 1 or 2 people at a beauty salon isn't contaminating anybody. And most of those places are the most cleanest, sanitized places you're ever going to go into because of their profession. So I believe that everybody should be able to be open with their own guidelines and understanding that if you do business with these places, you're walking in there at your own risk and you're willing to take that risk.
Thank you. I could also agree to that because I can't wait to get back into the salon, and I agree. I feel like they are more like high-end disinfecting, and their chemicals that they use to clean up after each client they have. But I go into Walmart and I see people wearing masks and gloves, touching their faces, and then touching products that you're going to grab. So I'm all for that one. Let's move on to question number 6, also from Lori. Where is my stimulus check?
Well, that's a touchy subject there because a lot of people didn't get a stimulus check. Some of us who have worked didn't meet their financial bottom, so we didn't qualify for it. Which I think the way that they did the stimulus check was just a little bit wrong about it. I think I understand that they went back to 18 and 19 taxes, but we're in a whole new year, we're in a whole new program here. I think everybody who had paid their taxes should have been eligible for it. I think the state of California should have taken a harder look at the people who didn't qualify and helped us, the individuals, the small business owners, the people who didn't qualify for stimulus, and anybody in California who didn't qualify for stimulus. not just a certain group. I think what they did that, they put a target on that group, and it wasn't fair for that group. Because I think everybody in California, everybody in the United States should have been helped with the stimulus package.
Going on to question 7 from Lori as well. Why are my taxes so high? And I feel like you touched on the subject earlier, stating that California was the highest paying taxes in the state and just cost of living is high for the other states.
One of the biggest problems that we have here in California is that we are paying overtax. Our taxes are through the roof, our roads aren't being fixed. We are being misled by our government saying that, hey, if we tax you like Prop 13 that just got turned down last year, if we tax you here, our roads are gonna fix, our schools are gonna get better. I think there's a fine line to where we look at profit and loss statements for the state of California, we see where the cuts are needed. But I also believe that if we can pick up 2.5 million more people pay taxes, that we can actually cut what we're paying right now in taxes and make it fair for everybody, and the state will not make a feel because you have 2.5 million more people paying taxes. And I think that goes hand in hand with our immigration reform. I think that we take a harder look at some of the our tax dollars and where they are being expended, and we take a look at where we can make those cuts that we don't need anymore because more people are working, more people are paying their taxes, and more people are eligible and not eligible. Now they disqualify themselves from some of the government programs that are available, which saves us money in the long run. And our goal is not to have any race or any gender say, hey, our Latinos now have a lower unemployment rate or the blacks or the Asians. Our goal in our administration is to have California in a whole be the lowest state with unemployment. I want to generate more income for California, but how you do that is you bring more jobs here, so more of us are working.
Okay, another question from Lori is, who is his campaign manager?
Right now, we're in the process of getting us a campaign manager. Right now, we're pretty much doing everything in-house. Right now, we are looking for donations, we're looking for sponsors, and we're looking for help. But before we can get that far, I think the people of California need to get to know what I'm about and who I'm about. And the group that we do choose to go with, at that point, my campaign manager, the firm, and everybody else who's going to be supporting us, I think has to be on the same track as believing our message and being able to expand our message to everybody in California, because I believe that's important.
Question number 9. Why, and this is from Daniel, why is it that we are the largest state with the most population and higher taxes, but comparatively to other states, have the least improvements to the state's infrastructure? Example, schools, roads, recreational parks, etc.
Well, Daniel, I kind of touched on that just a little bit ago when I said we're the largest state, we're the largest tax. What we need to do is take a look at where the tax dollars are going and how they're going, and where we can make some cuts but make some adjustments. With our lottery, once the lottery came out, a lot of that money was supposed to get suited for schools. Is that really being done? So I actually believe that the state of California needs a solid audit to see where our tax dollars are going, how they're being expended, and how we can better manage our money. Because that's what we're not doing. Right now, from the looks of it, our tax dollars aren't getting managed to the right portion to where they need to be and they're more suitable. There is no reason why any school teacher needs to go out and buy school supplies for their kids that they're teaching. That is wrong, and it should have never happened. Yet somehow we allowed that to happen, and now that's the norm. Well, it's not the norm. Our kids need the highest education because they're our future. And we, as a state, need to unite and take responsibility for making their education our #1 priority, because those are our future leaders. So we have to be able to allot the money that's responsible for the teachers, educators, and the supplies that they need so our kids will be better.
This is a question from Lewis. What could be done for people such as Liz that have fallen between the cracks? What could be done to help those who don't qualify for any existing programs? Create a safety net for all.
Well, Lewis, that's a great question, and as a small business owners, I understand where people are having a hardship these days. I also understand that some of the programs that are available aren't available for everybody. Like I said earlier, the state of California should have looked at every individual who lives here who's a taxpayer and figure out what kind of programs we can help everybody with. Right now with COVID-19, a lot of people have lost their jobs. We're trying to substitute some of the stuff for them, but not everybody qualifies. We need to have a standard where everybody qualifies. We need to have a safety net, and we need to have reserves for people just like that to create the programs that they need. There has to be an avenue for everybody to be able to get help.
Question 11, this is from Frank. Can we have our constitutional rights back?
Oh, Frank, that's what we've been talking about all this time, right? Our constitutional rights as freedom to be able to go out of our house whenever we need to, be able to go shop, be able to go do business with the local businesses. I believe that if we unite California, doesn't matter the party line, and we do what's best for California, our constitutional rights are our rights, and we need to stand by them. We need somebody in Sacramento that's going to honor the Constitution of the United States and stand by it all the way around. That comes from justice reform programs to everything else that's going on right now. So yes, the answer is we will get our constitutional rights back, but we need to get out and vote, and we need our voices to be heard. So if you're sitting at home right now and you think that your voices aren't being heard, you're wrong. You're mistaken. Every time that there's an election, you want to voice your opinion, you need to get out there. You need to vote, whether it's for the mayor, whether it's for the sheriff, whether it's for any local government. You need to be able to go out there and vote. That is where your voices are being heard. So as the protesters are going on these days in the United States and California and everywhere else that we look, their voices are being heard about Black Lives Matter, right? I encourage those people to go out there and protest, but I encourage them to do it in a safe manner where we're not looting, we're not burning down small towns, small businesses. What that's doing is taking the message away. But if you want a strong message, get involved in the community. Get involved when local people are getting elected. You want your constitutional right to make the right decisions, go out there and vote and hold people accountable. I don't think there should be such thing as a career politician. I think there should be a term on every office. I think there should be a term on how long you can be a politician. That will fix some of these problems that we're having today. But if you want your constitutional rights back, you need to stand up, you need to go out, and you need to vote, and you need to get involved. When county council has their meeting, and you get invited, even if you don't get invited, you need to go out there and you need to get involved in what's going on in your community. That is the strongest voice that you have, is your local offices that are right in front of you, that have a say in your community. If we can do that, we can fix the system. Somebody asked me yesterday, I'm going to cut you off here just so that I'm sorry, how can we fix the justice system? How can we fix this cruelty that's going on these days? And my answer was simple. Hold your county accountable. Hold the county sheriff's office, hold the chief of police accountable, hold the mayor accountable, hold county council, who's their bosses, accountable for who they put into office. Do an audit. Make sure that the right people are serving us. There are some very good police officers out there. I do business with them every day, and they are great people. Unfortunately, one bad apple ruins the bunch. That is not true. The police is out there to help us, but how can we get involved and make it better? We need to get down to the local levels. We need to get involved in our communities and make sure the right people are in office at the right places. And when something happens, we need to hold those people accountable. We need to hold the mayors accountable. We need to hold the senators accountable. We need to hold everybody accountable who we voted into office for allowing this injustice to go on.
Very, very well said. I think most of us can all agree with that as well. Because especially during this time, we all feel that exact same way. So moving on, this is from Jeff. How can you be so arrogant and so many things all at once?
Well, I hope that wasn't directed to me, Jeff. And the real advice of that was we put out a list out there that you could ask your governor any questions. And I'm hoping that's directed at him and not me, Jeff. I believe that some people get lost up in their politics and their office, that they lose sight of what's important. I'm going to answer that in a brief moment to you, Jeff, here. If I was the governor during COVID-19, when people went to protest in front of the Capitol, I, myself here, not being arrogant, would have probably put a podium out and I would have listened. I would have had the highway patrol just to keep the peace there, but I would have allowed a mic and speaker so people in the crowd could have told me their concerns, and that's how you manage. You're a leader. You have to be in front of it. I wouldn't have been hiding somewhere else. I would have been right there in front of everybody answering your questions, because I believe as Californians, if I do get elected into office, you are my employer. You are my boss. I have to listen. I have to be able to consider what's going on, and I also have to be able to give out what our point of view is. Again, I wasn't, and I did not have all the information that our governor at that point had, but I would have put my face out there and I would have talked to every individual who's out there that had a decent voice, because everybody who was protesting to reopen California, get our businesses open, they have a solid complaint that our government should have listened to, not dismissed it. Because when you're out there protesting, when you're out there where there's an injustice, we need to have our faces out. The mayor should have been out there. The county council should have been out there. The governor should have been out there. We should have been listening to these people that are asking us to open up California. We should be out there and listening to the injustice going on right now, because we're the ones that can make a difference. We're the ones on the top. We're the leaders. We need to let people know that we can. We hear the voices. And everybody's voice counts. I don't care who you are.
This next question is from Julia. When are places of worship open? Excuse me. We should have the choice to attend as long as we are being safe.
Julia, and I agree with you. I agree with anybody who's wanting to open up their business right now. If you can figure out how to do it in a safe manner, and I think we all know when it's safe. A place of worship is a sacred place, and I believe that that's a place where an individual has a choice to make. I don't think anybody's going to open up a business, or anybody who's sick is going to go somewhere to contaminate somebody else. I believe that your place of worship is special, and it should be open, it should be allowed, and should be available to everybody and anybody who is in need. A lot of the places of worship are sanctuaries for a lot of people, and we're blessed to have them. It doesn't matter what your belief is, you should have the right to exercise your belief, be in congregation with your people.
Okay. Question number 14. Can you please paint us a picture of how life will be for our senior citizens post-COVID-19? Will we still have our jobs and etc.? This is from Jesse.
Jesse, that's a very good question. We have to look at a lot of stuff, Jesse, and one of the things that we have to look is how to bring industry back to California and create more jobs. I believe everybody deserves to have a job. I believe everybody has the right to be able to make a better future for them and their family. I don't think age has a bearing on that, but I believe that we need to create the jobs and the infrastructure in California to be able to have good paying jobs for good, honest working people.
Question 15. Why is he allowing his politics to guide his decisions? This is from Anne-Marie.
Anne-Marie, unfortunately, I can't answer that question for you because that's not me. Unfortunately, again, career politicians get in their head that what they're saying is right, and because they have lost touch, that's what I believe. They have lost touch on what their everyday life is. They don't understand what it's like to not have enough money to put gas in the car or put food on the table. That is one of the luxuries that I've been able to experience in my life, and I call it a luxury because it's a learning curve. And we all understand through tough times how we need to stick together and make it better, which that now allows me to be able to run for governor and understand that everybody counts and that we need better infrastructure in this state, better jobs, and better accommodations. But that also lets me understand that we need to do some tax cuts so people have more money in their pocket. One of the craziest things that happens, I went to McDonald's the other day and it cost me $20 for a meal.
Yeah, I'll be doing it 4.
So when you look at that, you're like, wow, why is this costing so much? Well, when you have to pay somebody $15 an hour, and please nobody take that the wrong way, but our inflation goes up. So we need to hold inflation down by reducing our taxes to allow people to have a little bit more money in their pocket. Do you imagine that they cut the gas tax? If you'd have $1 more a gallon to spend, you can actually go inside with that extra dollar and buy your kids something to drink or eat or get yourself something somewhere else, because now you have a little bit more money in your pocket.
So I want to ask you a question. This is me just hearing your response. You know, you say how McDonald's would cost you $21 to $30 for family of 2 to family of 4. How do you feel for like healthy foods? Why are they so more expensive? Yet we have fast foods that are so cheap but not good for you. How could you make this a difference to make, you know, health-wise for America, or not America, I should say, like California, like healthier and options that way?
Well, Christina, that's a fair question to ask. I believe that everybody has a choice on what they eat and where they want to shop. So one of the things that I would encourage is our local produce manufacturers. We're in the Central Valley. I would encourage somebody to actually go more to farmers markets and be able to go out there and eat a little bit healthier. But I would never tell anybody this is the way you have to eat or that's the way you have to eat, because I believe that's why we're in America, because it's our freedom of our choice. So just because I chose to eat at McDonald's yesterday doesn't mean that you need to, but I think that food needs to be at a fair price where everybody can afford it and everybody can afford to eat a little healthier. Well, how do you do that? You bring industry back into California where we can create more jobs, where people make a little bit more money so that they can actually afford that. And with that, you do tax cuts so people have more money in their pocket so they can actually go out and eat a little healthier than the average person.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on. Number 16, with all the stimulus checks going out, how are you going to address the state's budget? Re-stimulating the economy, and what are your plans for a better healthcare system for your constituents? This is from Tina.
Well, Tina, that's an open-ended question and quite a bit of them. So let's address the first one, which was,
With all the stimulus checks going out, how are you going to address the state's budget?
well, the state budget right now, we know we're in a $54 billion deficit. So the first thing to do is, it goes hand in hand with my immigration reform program where we look at having more people pay taxes and lowering everybody's taxes a little bit, bringing industries back into California, which stimulates the economy because there's more jobs available. Well, how do we do that? Let's just take, for example, the lumber industry. If we could bring the lumber industry back into California, we can not clear cut, but clean our forests up a little bit, thin them out, which produce more jobs for people. Not only that, it produces better for the wildfires. If we go back when the lumber industry was really strong in California, our wildfires weren't so bad. But the lumber industry creates more jobs, and it saves us from wildfires. So to stimulate the economy, we really just need to bring more industries back into California and let people want to do business with us and do business here locally. Bring businesses back from that are overseas and bring them back into California where they can make it here because your taxes are in line with every other state.
Now, also, Tina had another question. What are your plans for a better healthcare system? Nowadays, healthcare either is overpriced, high deductibles, or some people don't have healthcare and they don't qualify for Medi-Cal. So what is the plan for you to help the Californians have a better healthcare system?
Well, Christina, it goes back to looking at your budgets and cuts. Sometimes we're overspending some money in some areas that are needed. And I'm not picking on anybody with what I'm going to say, but if we can afford to give illegal immigrants free medical, right now when they come to our state, why can we not give it to the working people that pay taxes? So the idea is to take a better look at that and figure out how to spread the Medi-Cal for everybody so everybody can, and we do have affordable health care for everybody. Our employers sometimes provide it, and some of us just can't afford it because it's out of budget. So we need to take a stronger look at what we're spending our money on and figure out how to produce better medical insurance for everybody who's here.
Okay. Question number 17. What is his plan to try and combat the homeless problem? This is from Misty.
Well, Misty, I addressed that a little bit earlier. 70% of our homeless people have mental issues, so we need to address the root of the problem first. A lot of them are addicted to alcohol, drugs. So what we need to do is, instead of having these shoot-up clinics where you can go to San Francisco, Sacramento, and these bigger places and get needles and trade in needles, we should make those rehab centers. We need to give the people the solution that they need for their problem so they can be working citizens again. We need to be able to help the homeless instead of just moving them aside and just relocating them. One of our major things is SB 640, which is sitting in the Senate right now, which we need to get across. That is to help mental aid people that are homeless right now and get them in the right facilities that they need to be in so they can get the help that they want. So my theory behind the homeless is let's get them the help that they need so they can move forward and be productive members of society, whether it's alcoholism, whether it's drug addiction, whether it's mental issues. I think if we hit the root of the problem, we will solve the problem. But we keep covering it up with moving them here. Let's put them in housing. Let's fix the problem. Let's stop moving the problem from one end to the other, and let's get down to the root of the problem and start helping these people get back on their feet. And that's what we need to do.
So I have another question. This is question 18. And this is regards to our justice system, the prisons. What is your input on how much luxury, and I say it's luxury because for an inmate, they get free health care, while working Americans struggle to even pay for that. They get food, housing, education. What is your view on inmates and how the prison system is?
Well, Christina, that is a very valid question. You just heard me say that we need to look at our medical, where we're spending free medical for people. So we need to just look at the whole infrastructure of what's going on in the prison system right now. Do I believe, like our governor, that we need to close 2 prisons down? No, I don't. I think that we need to better manage what we're spending right now in the programs that we have, and I think that maybe some of those programs might need to get cut down just a little bit to be able to help our taxpayers. Why should an inmate get better health insurance than a taxpayer who can't afford it? That's not right. So we have to be able to look at all this from the inside out. I don't have all the facts in front of me because I don't have that luxury. Once I become in office, I will be able to have that luxury to be able to look at that and figure out where are the cuts that need to be made and where we can change to make it better for working Americans and working Californians every day.
Okay, well, those are all the questions we have printed out at the moment. Do we have more questions?
So talk about yourself one more time.
Well, I would like to thank everybody for joining us. We will be back here next week. Please, any questions that you guys have, please put them out there. We want to hear from everybody. We want to be able to answer everybody's questions. Once again, my name is Diego Martinez, and I'm running for governor in 2022, and thank you for joining us.